The monotonous tick-tock of the wall clock in the lobby of the Opus business building seemed to mock Sofia's exhaustion. It was almost 1 a.m. on a humid Tuesday in Sao Paulo, and the echo of her footsteps on the polished marble of the empty penthouse was her only company. The city slept under a blanket of fine mist and persistent drizzle, but for Sofia Silva, a 28-year-old cleaner, rest was a luxury her reality could not afford. Her shoulders ached under the weight of an endless day, but the image of her son, Leo, peacefully asleep in his small room, was the fuel that kept her going. Sofia was not a woman of grand ambitions or extravagant dreams. Her dreams were modest, yet vital: a safe roof over Leo's head, food on the table, and perhaps one day, the chance to see him go to college. For this, she worked tirelessly, juggling shifts as a cleaner in different commercial buildings. Every penny was hard-earned, every muscle ache a testament to her unwavering dedication. The rent for their small apartment in Villa Mariana was 2 months overdue, and the refrigerator, which once hummed with hope, now echoed with emptiness. On that particular night, the Opus penthouse, a sanctuary of luxury and power, with its panoramic city views and minimalist designer furniture, felt especially imposing. Sofia, in her simple, faded uniform, felt like an invisible spectator on a stage that wasn't hers. As she vacuumed the Persian rug in the main meeting room, where market-moving decisions were made, her eyes, trained for meticulous detail, scanned the floor. It was then that, beneath the imposing solid mahogany conference table, capable of seating 20, something stood out. It wasn't trash nor a scrap of paper. It was a notebook. Black leather, with its cover already a little worn at the corners, held shut by an elastic band. Her heart gave a small leap. This was no ordinary jotting pad. The feel of it in her hands suggested an unusual weight, as if each page held its own gravity. Curiosity, a rare indulgence for Sofia, overcame her. Carefully, she slid off the elastic band and opened the notebook. What her eyes saw momentarily took her breath away. These weren't random doodles or daily reminders. They were complex diagrams, stock market graphs with dizzying upward and downward lines, financial equations that seemed to defy common logic, and market analyses that unraveled secrets of entire industries. There were pages upon pages of long-term investment strategies, details about multi-billion-dollar mergers and acquisitions, and, what impressed her most, a detailed schedule for the launch of a new technology product that, according to the notes, would revolutionize global connectivity. The name, Dr. Alexander Monteverde, along with a cell phone number and an email address, was meticulously embossed on the first page. Alexander Monteverde. The name resonated in Sofia's mind. He wasn't just a businessman, he was a titan, a corporate genius, the CEO of Monteverde Holdings. His achievements were frequently reported, his strategies studied in business schools. Sofia had seen him on magazine covers and in brief TV reports, always with an air of someone a step ahead of his time. And now, the core of his intellect and future plans lay in her hands. A wave of heat and cold washed over Sofia. She wasn't naive. She understood the value of those papers in an instant. That information was gold, diamonds. It was the key to priceless competitive advantages, capable of bringing down empires or building fortunes. For Monteverde's competitors, or for anyone with ill intentions, that notebook would be worth an unimaginable sum of money. The dilemma, heavy and corrosive, settled in her chest. An inner voice, seductive and urgent, whispered, "Take it! No one will know, sell it. Solve all your problems at once. The rent, the refrigerator, the debts, a better future for Leo." The image of Leo, his gap-toothed smile, his wish for a new remote control car she couldn't afford, flooded her mind. The pain of not being able to provide everything for him was a constant wound. This was her chance to heal it. Sofia closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the notebook in her hands, almost as if her family's future depended on that object. The rain outside intensified, drumming against the enormous glass windows, each drop a hammer in the night's silence. The temptation was almost overwhelming. Her poverty, her struggles, the doors that closed in her face, everything seemed to cry out for an immediate solution, no matter the means. But then another voice, softer yet infinitely stronger, echoed in her memory. It was the voice of her late mother who always told her, "Sofia, money comes and goes, but character, honesty. No one can take that from you. It's your greatest treasure." Her mother, a simple woman from the countryside, had raised Sofia with non-negotiable values, even in the deepest privation. Sofia opened her eyes. The physical exhaustion was insignificant compared to the moral weariness she felt contemplating dishonesty. She wasn't that person. She couldn't become that person. Leo deserved a mother who taught him integrity, not one who bowed to temptation. With a deep sigh that carried all her anguish and her resolve, she carefully put the notebook into her work backpack, among her cleaning supplies and rubber gloves. "I'll return it," she thought, with a clarity that calmed her tormented soul. It was the right thing to do. The rest, she would trust, would work itself out. The next morning, Sofia had barely slept, her mind in a whirlwind. She arrived at Monteverde Holdings, a skyscraper even more imposing than Opus, a monument to wealth and power. The lobby, with its modern art sculptures, polished white marble floors, and immaculately suited security team, felt like a universe apart. Sofia, in her faded cleaning uniform, felt diminished, almost invisible. The receptionist, a tall, elegant woman with perfectly styled hair, looked at Sofia with a mixture of curiosity and perhaps disdain. "Yes," she asked, with a polite tone that did not hide her surprise. "I need to speak with Dr. Alexander Monteverde," Sofia said, her voice a little hoarse with nervousness, but with a newfound firmness. "I found something that belongs to him, something very important." The receptionist raised an eyebrow, but the mention of something very important seemed to catch her attention. After a few calls and a closer look at Sofia's badge, she directed her to the executive waiting room. There, Sofia waited, time crawling like a snail. Each minute was a reminder of lost work time, of the salary she wasn't earning, of the chance to have lunch with Leo that she had sacrificed. Finally, the solid oak door opened. A tall man with meticulously styled gray hair, piercing blue eyes, and an expression of deep concern on his face emerged. It was Alexander Monteverde. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes, as if he hadn't slept for days. "I hear you found something of mine," he asked, direct, without preamble, his voice laden with contained urgency. Sofia took the notebook from her backpack and handed it to him. "Yes, doctor. I found it in the Opus meeting room last night while I was cleaning." Alexander took the notebook as if it were a precious artifact. His fingers quickly leafed through the pages, his eyes scanning the graphs and notes. The tension in his face began to dissipate, replaced by profound relief. "This notebook," he began, his voice choked, "is of vital importance to me, MS. Sofia Silva." "Ms. Silva, you have no idea what this means. I was in absolute panic. The launch schedule for our new product, the merger strategies, everything was here. I had torn the entire company apart looking for it. The potential loss would have been immeasurable." He observed her with a new intensity, his eyes scrutinizing Sofia's simple clothes. "Did you know what you were returning? The intrinsic value of this information?" Sofia hesitated, her voice almost a whisper. "Yes, doctor. I understood it was very important and confidential." Alexander Monteverde tilted his head, a slight smile forming on his tired lips. "And yet, you brought it back. In an age where integrity is such a rare currency, and where everyone seems to look for shortcuts to success, you chose the harder path." He paused, his gaze evaluating her. "I would like to reward you, Sofia. Please accept this as a token of my deep gratitude." He extended a check already filled out with a sum that would make Sofia's eyes widen, enough to pay overdue rent, fill her refrigerator for months, and even buy several remote control cars for Leo. Sofia's heart pounded. The check in her hands was the immediate solution to her problems. It was the quick way out. But the image of her mother, the gentle voice of her conscience, spoke louder. "I thank you immensely, Dr. Monteverde," Sofia said, her voice clear and firm, surprising herself. "But I didn't return it for a reward. I returned it because it was the right thing to do. My mother always taught me that honesty is priceless." Alexander Monteverde stared at her, utterly astonished. In his years of business, he had encountered few who refused money, especially in such a clear situation of need. He saw in Sofia not just honesty, but a moral strength he rarely found, even among his most senior executives. He saw character, resilience, and unwavering dignity. "Ms. Silva," he began, his voice now soft, almost reverent, "you demonstrate a kind of character that is more valuable than any business strategy that might be in this notebook. And people with such character are the ones I want by my side, not just at Monteverde Holdings, but in life." He gestured with his hand, inviting her to sit in the leather chair that, moments before, had seemed beyond her reach. "I cannot give you this check as a mere gratuity, since you refused it on principle. But I can give you an opportunity. My company is always looking for trustworthy people with an innate sense of responsibility who don't shy away from what is right. How about working with us? Not as a cleaner, but in an administrative role. Perhaps as a project assistant. You would learn a lot, have a good salary, and more importantly, be part of a team where integrity is valued above all else." Sofia felt a lump in her throat. Her eyes filled with tears, but they were tears of pure joy and disbelief. A job opportunity at Monteverde Holdings, a career, a different future for her and Leo. It was a dream she hadn't even dared to dream. It seemed too good to be true, a divine intervention amidst her daily struggles. I don't know what to say, doctor," she stammered, her voice thick with emotion. "Say yes, Sofia," he replied with a warm smile, his eyes conveying a sincerity she felt was genuine. "Give yourself a chance, and I assure you, you won't regret it. People like you are the true gold in any organization." Sofia accepted the offer, with a sparkle in her eyes that fatigue could not dim. It was the beginning of a new phase, one she could never have imagined. On her first day, she was nervous, but Monteverde's guidance and the support of her new team helped her adapt. She started as an administrative assistant in the projects department, absorbing every new piece of information like a thirsty sponge. Her dedication, punctuality, and above all, her unwavering honesty were quickly noticed by everyone. She attended management courses, took computer training, improved her communication skills, and within a few years rose to a management position, becoming a fundamental part of Alexander Monteverde's team. Dr. Monteverde, who had always been a mentor to Sofia, often consulted her, not only for her competence, but also for her unique perspective and keen moral compass. She became a living example for the company, a testament that ethical values, even in the relentless world of business, could be the foundation of success. Leo grew up in an environment of security and stability, seeing his mother as a true example of perseverance and integrity. They finally had the house they had always dreamed of, with a small garden where Leo could play. The refrigerator was always full, and worrying about rent was a distant memory. Sofia never forgot her origins, and always used her new position and influence to help others who, like her, struggled for a dignified life, creating support and training programs for underprivileged communities. The story of Sofia Silva and Alexander Monteverde became a legend at Monteverde Holdings and beyond. It was told to every new employee, a constant reminder that, in the end, honesty is not just a virtue to be praised, but a powerful force, a catalyst capable of opening doors and changing destinies in unexpected and wonderful ways. That rainy night, that forgotten notebook, and the decision of a cleaner in a moment of despair proved that honesty in its purest form is always rewarded. The rewards may not be immediate or material, but they are, as Sofia learned, the most valuable and lasting. Respect, dignity, personal fulfillment, and the building of a legacy of integrity that transcends time. Sofia's life, which was once a series of silent sacrifices and invisible struggles, blossomed into a story of inspiration and success, all because of a simple yet profound choice: to remain true to herself and her values, even when the world seemed to conspire against her. And that, she understood, was the greatest reward of all.